Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. If you probably know right about now, WWE Evolve features a very interesting main event. As you know, our first inaugural champion, Jackson Drake of the Vanity Project, will defend his championship against Lidse Dorada. Now, of course, you know the stipulation, his buddies, the Vanity Project, are banned. So that is going to be an interesting to see. But we'll also see other matches and other storylines, and including one about Jin Tala. As you all know, she revealed herself to be the attacker. So we'll see how things will progress from there. And also, as you already know, AEW Dynamite, we entered the fallout after AEW All In Texas. The real question is, where do we go from here? Where does Hangman Page goes now as our current AEW World Champion? And of course, life goes from riches to rags to the Bucks as they're no longer the EVPs and plenty other things as well. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing, of course, some of the past Yoshi events, and amongst them is Marvelous with a 2-day event in Sapporo called Sapporo 2 Days. So basically, they did a 2-day event in Sapporo. I can't wait to review everything from A to Z on this one. And as always, we'll cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the pleasantries. So, let's get this show started. So let's begin, of course, with Day 1 by Marvelous of Sapporo 2 Days. Marvelous Sapporo 2 Days. This is Day 1 in, of course, Sapporo Leonin Stadium on May 31st. Now, for those who don't know, this is an event that they normally do every year for a 2-day event in Sapporo. Now, of course, they opened up with the entrance ceremony, of course, introducing everybody in the roster participating, with the Yoshi wrestlers, including the foreigners, such as Sadie Gibbs, Johnny Robbie, and a few others. Now, our first match features a men's tag team match. We have Robert Martyr teaming up with Titus Alexander, taking on Ruto Noriyuki Yoshida. Now, of course, some people may know who is Titus Alexander. He's been known as a franchise. He's been participating a whole lot with Marvelous, not to mention touring with them, and not to mention appearing in Noah as well. But in this particular match, it was, of course, Yoshida who picked up the win when he applied an Insiguri on Robert Martyr, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our next match, we have tag team action. We have Hayahausen and, of course, Takumi Iroha taking on Magenta, Maria, and Riko Kawahata. Now, for those who may not remember, recently, as you know, during an event in the Marvelous 9th Anniversary show where they had that one-day tag team tournament, Maria and Riko Kawahata decided to turn heels, and that's exactly what they've been doing. So they've been using, of course, tactics where they have to find ways to win, including, of course, cheating their way through, all that. But this match ended after a countout that led to them to win. So Magenta found a way to cheat their way through by using other means necessary. So they won by countout after 13 minutes and 58 seconds. So that would have been close to 15 minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So yeah, that's how Magenta makes their plays now in Marvelous. Now, before everybody went to break, apparently we had Mayu Momono do a promo. For those who may remember or not at the time, Mayu Momono was out of action due to an injury she obtained after she had to defend both the AEW tag team belts and the Sendai Girls tag team belts that led her to be out of action. So she's been appearing, doing promos, and all this other stuff in Marvel. So it's great to hear from her. Now, our next match is an intergender match. We have Ryan Clancy taking on Benny. Now, Benny has faced off many men before. She actually is very dangerous in every way possible. But, of course, Ryan Clancy, he doesn't play games. Of course, he probably would not treat her with all kinds of, pleasantries, but nope. But Benny fought back in any way possible, including of course, the biggest mistake that Ryan Clancy made was arguing with the ref when he, of course, tried to cheat his way through using the ropes in the pinfall. But referee, I have to say, he decided to, I had enough of your sorry ass, and just shoved him. And then, of course, Benny put him in the schoolboy, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Benny won. So, dumb luck, Ryan Clancy. Our main event, you can call this a Japan versus the International. Representing Japan, we have the rookies, of course, Sora Ayame and Senka Akatsuki. They team up with Yu to take on Amira, Johnny Robbie, and Sadie Gibbs. Now, of course, factors of this match, many of you may know. Sora Ayame and Senka Akatsuki are the rookies in this match because they have least experience, as you probably can guess. That's always been a factor in this match. But however, you do have Yu, who is a bit of a powerhouse, who is very difficult to put down. But in the end, it was Johnny Robbie that picked up the win by pinning Senka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So Johnny Robbie, Amira, and Sadie Gibbs picked up the win. So that's how it ended on day 1. So let's see how things progress with day 2. Okay, day 2 of Marvelous Sapporo 2 Days, and this was also on the same venue, the Sapporo Leonin Stadium, and this happened on June 1st. Now, as usual, we have the entrance call as always, so we had seen all the wrestlers participating in this event. Now, as you probably noticed in the last one I just recently reviewed, it only featured 4 matches. Well, in this one, it only features 5. So I'm just putting it out there for all of you in case you've noticed. Our first match, we have Sora Ayame taking on Yu. Now, it doesn't take a genius how this match was going to be. For those who already know, Sorayama is in fact, of course, a rookie. Most likely could lose this match. As for Yu, we know she's a powerhouse. She can easily crush, of course, Sorayama, which she actually did when she applied, of course, a cannonball. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our next match, we have a three-way. We have Amira versus Ehausen versus Sadie Gibbs. Now, of course, there are a lot of things that could definitely go crazy enough. I mean, Sadie Gibbs, many of you may remember her. She did that corkscrew plancha before she ever joined AEW, but this was during her Stardom tour. Of course, she was going to do something like that, but in the end, it was Amira who picked up the win by taking out Hausen with a slam, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our next match, we have an interesting handicap match. We have Magenta, Maria and Riko Kawahata. They take on Yuriko Yoshida. So basically, you probably ask yourselves how this is going to happen. I mean, we all know Yoshida was probably going to have a great time taking down, of course, both members of Magenta. But Magenta, I have to say they were a bit more smarter than you anticipate, because the way they handle things, well, let's just say that they know that they're not dealing with an ordinary guy, so they had to play a different type of tactic. Like, let's say, try to have him chase them to a door and lock them up. Hopefully, he stays there. Try to beat him in countouts. None of that happened. But however, they were able to use their teamwork, as we've been seeing recently. They combined, of course, the Maestral and the Jackknife at the same time, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Magenta picked up the win. Now, during this, we took a little bit of a break, and they featured, of course, Miyu Momono, and she calls out, of course, her mentor, none other than the founder of Marvelous, Chigusa Nagayo. Doing that, I don't know what they were talking about, but I'm sure, as I mentioned before, that we were going to see, of course, Miyu Momono real soon. Now, our next match, we have another men's exhibition match. We have Robert Martyr teaming up with Ryan Glancy. They take on Ryoto and Titus Alexander. So basically, there's been a little mix-up like they did last time. But of course, when it comes to Ryan Clancy, he thinks that he is the sharp fancy pants ever. But in the end, it was in fact Titus Alexander who picked up the win when he took out Titus Alexander with a somewhat version of the Claymore, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our main event, we have, of course, Senka Akatsuki teaming up with Takumi Iroha, taking on Johnny Robbie and Venny. Now, of course, when it comes to Venny, we all know she's a bit of an aggressive in the ring. You know she can try to take your head off. But in the end, out of nowhere, it was Senka Akatsuki who picked up a very interesting miracle win when she pinned Johnny Robbie. And just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. But however, I don't know if this means that she probably want to challenge Johnny Robbie for her title, which is the West Coast Pro Women's Championship. So we'll see how things will go from there. So can't wait to see what else we have, because we do have other events from Marvelous, and I will do those as soon as possible. But as of right now, we'll end things here with Marvelous and move on with our next review, WWE Evolve. WWE Evolve. Now, a lot of things is going to happen on this one. Our main event, of course, is the Evolve Championship, but we'll get to that. Our first match, we have, of course, a three-way women's match of Kylie Rae, Tyler Ray May Steele, and Chantel Monroe. Now, of course, as you probably can guess, there are a lot of these women who definitely would love nothing more to reach the top to challenge Callie Armstrong for the Evolved Women's Championship, which is, of course, obviously. But the real question is, who will be the one to build up that momentum to get there? Now, when it comes to three ways, as I mentioned, time and time again, it could be ecstatic. Now, people would probably assume Kylie Rae most likely be the winner, since she is, how do I say, the fan favorite. Obviously, I would agree with that. But we got to look at the other talent, exactly what they can do. I mean, Chantel Monroe has picked up wins, like maybe small percent of the time she cheats her way through. But Tyra May Steele, she has been very impressive. But she was able to pick up the win by applying a German suplex on Monroe, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Chewy Martinez decided to have a nice conversation with Jin Tala. Now, Jin Tala, as you know, revealed her reasons of her attitude. Why did she did what she did? Why attack the women of the Evolved locker room? Well, she said that since she was in LFG and lost, she was the nice girl. So she became like that person where it's like, nice guys finish last, no time for that. That's what she did, and she wanted to build up her opportunity. And not to mention, Carly Bright, as you probably know, she wants to have another crack at her because, of course, she wants to make her pay for what she did to her. So we'll see where that goes. So let's get to that match in a bit. But we did see, of course, Stevie Turner having a nice conversation with Jordan Oasis, talking about, of course, as you know, Stevie Turner is not a big fan of the Vanity Project. So she's given Jordan Oasis an opportunity to deal with the Vanity Project, but he needs a partner. So he said he may have some people in mind, but we'll see. Now, our next match is Jin Tala versus Carly Bright. But Carly Bright, I have to say, she decided to bring out the animal in her and try to beat the crap out of her. But Jin Tala was not playing any games. You would have assumed that Carly would have picked up a upset win, but no, something went wrong. Not in the ring, outside. Wendy Chu showed up and got in the face of Kendall Gray. I don't know what was really going on there. But because of the distraction, Carly Bright saw what exactly was going on. But in the end, it was Jin Tala who became the victor by taking her out. 1, 2, 3, just like that. But the real question is, what is Wendy Chu trying to do? What's her motives now towards Kendall Gray? Who knows? Now, Shawn Legacy, as you know, got in the face of Tate Wilder. As you know, he's trying to make a name for himself. So that's exactly what he's going to do, because Shawn Legacy feels that he is going to be the face of Evolve. But, however, Tate Wilder has to go through Edris and Nofe. So basically, this was not going to be a simple match for Tate Wilder, but it was Edris and Nofe who picked up the went with the Pissin Pot or something like that. I don't know what it was. And just like that, it was over. But, of course, during the post-match, we did see Dante Chen come out and return the favor after what happened last time. Now, we did see a bit of a video promo from Keanu Carver. As you know, he is talking about Thatcher, what he did to him last week. And now his primary target is to take out those involved in the WWE ID prospect. So he's going to target them and Shawn Legacy as well. Now, the Vanity Project were not too happy about how things are out, so because apparently they're banned from ringside. It's something that Jackson Drake did not see happening. Now, Stevie Turner was at her office as usual, minding her own business, until Edris Enofa is feeling like he did not, that what happened to him, well, it was uncalled for. But for Stevie Turner saying, you deserve that after what you did last time to him. But she did state that there's going to be a match between those two next week. Now, our main event is the Evolved Championship. Lince Dorada taking on Jackson Drake. Now, of course, you would have assumed that Lince Dorada would have had an opportunity to pick up the win without the help of Vanity Project being by Jackson Drake's side. It helped a little bit, but however, we should have seen it coming where, of course, Ricky Smoke, somehow this bastard got underneath the ring, hold the foot of Lince Dorada, and of course, just like that, it was Jackson Drake that picked up the victory to retain the championship. And just like that, it was over. However, unbeknownst to Jackson Drake, he was attacked by Brooks Jensen. I don't know what's the deal. Even the Vanity Project were in shock. They don't know what to make of this. What is this deal? Why is he attacking them? Well, who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Drake has a sight set for the Evolve Championship. We haven't seen him in the NXT for quite some time. So I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the move to Evolve. So we'll see what happens until then. But as of right now, we are done with Evolve. Let's move on with our last and final review, AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. As you all know, we enter the fallout after All In Texas. As you probably know right about now, we have a brand new AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page. So as you probably saw, he comes out to do a promo saying to people they deserve this because they felt for 9 months AEW was hostage to a tyrant who claimed that he is trying to save AEW, but it was Hangman who did it himself, along with people that helped them, including those who fought to try to free the AEW World Title. He named wrestlers like Orange Cassidy, the members of the Ops, Jay White, Adam Copeland, and a few others, and of course one person, Swerve, which he still don't know why he decided to help him. Was it either for himself or for AEW or him? Who knows? But nonetheless, it's a new era now with Hangman as a new champion. But the real question, where do we go from here? So we will see till then. Now, the Bucks, as you know, lost their EVP status against Swerve and Ospreay. So instead of coming out in their usual limos, well, they took either, I don't know if it's a Lyft or an Uber, I don't know, but it is the most embarrassing thing you ever get to see coming from them. Now, our first match of the night, we have Kyle Fletcher versus Mascara Dorada. Of course, we know Mascara Dorada, he is an amazing wrestler with some great high-flying capabilities. But, of course, he has to face against the proto-star, or should I call the proto-moron, of course, Kyle Fletcher. So he was going to use his killer instincts in any way possible to take him out, and that's exactly what he did when he applied the Brainbuster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, as we continue with the Bucks after losing their EVP status, well, they were sent to the boiler room, and their name of the in their little dressing room says Matt and Nick Jackson, no longer EVPs, and they were not happy. And then, of course, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony are laughing at them, saying, and of course, that's the last thing they needed. But that snake of the grass, Don Callis, decided that they should just work together. And of course, you may have noticed something odd. You remember how you saw how he hugged the Bucks? It's the same thing he did with Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Now, some people could say, is he going to try to separate them? I don't know. Depends on how the snake acts, so we'll stay close to that. Now, the Hurt Syndicate, as you know, has some business that they attended to. Apparently, MVP is asking for anybody who can actually take out Lashley and Benjamin for the AEW Tag Team belt. So he's waiting for the team that can actually pull it off. Well, we'll see. But however, Hangman Page has been on the topic of MJF since winning the Casino Gauntlet. So he is determined to win that belt off of him. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have, of course, the members of the Don Callis family, Hechicero, Josh Alexander, and the Bucks. Now, if you guys notice, the Bucks' usual theme did not come out, so it kind of was removed. But they got in the deal with Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Mike Bailey, along with Bandito and, of course, Brody Lee. Now, of course, we were going to see some interesting maneuvers. I mean, crazy stuff we were going to see. But this match ended with referee decision when Hechicero put Bandito in the sleeper hold because he was taken out by the Bucks. That gave enough time, and that was completely over. Now, we did hear from Adam Copeland, who we haven't seen for quite some time after he was taken out by FTR. Now, he made the record straight about, of course, that he came out to help Christian Cage. He's like, hell no. He's an a-hole, and all that. But he did told them this. And I have to say, I rewatched certain things about what he said. Copeland told them that the patriarchy were going to turn their backs on him. Because the reason is this. Christian's ego got in the way. He broke the plans to become AEW World Champion. So, but he did stated that he hopes he gets his head out of his behind and find himself. But he said he's not holding his breath. But The real reason he came back was to FTR. So, of course, his history with them goes back 5 years ago. But that little idiot Stokely, along with security, came out. And of course, he's saying that if he even puts his hands on FTR, then he's fired. But what's funny is Adam Copeland told him that he is an angry Loompa Loompa. And everybody was saying, Oompa Loompa. But he did state something. So let me get this straight. I'm not allowed to touch them because I'll get fired. You damn right you won't. But you said nothing about you. And that's when Stokely realized, oops, he messed up. So security tried to take him out, and the remaining security guys, they just ran to the hills in the name of Iron Maiden's song, Run to the hills, run for your life. Yep. Well, Stokely, he got speared. But Cope then told him that he's going to finish them. So the real question we ask ourselves, what does FTR going to do about it? Well, there's plenty of things, but we'll see. Now, Briscoe, as you know, had a video promo. He is not done with MJF. So basically, he is going to try, of course, to deal with them. So we don't know when will that happen, but sooner or later. Now, our next match is a $100,000 four-way match. We have Tekla versus Queen Aminata versus Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale. Now, of course, when it comes to four-ways, anything could happen. But you can tell there's been some animosity between both Tekla and Queen Aminata. But another long-standing friendship that became rivalry between Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale continued on in the ring. But however, when things got a little interesting with Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, well, Chris tried to stop Willow from winning. Well, it kind of went into the back. They took the fight in the back out of nowhere, leaving, of course, Queen Aminata alone in the ring with Tekla, but she was vicious. But out of nowhere, we see Sky Blue distract the referee, giving Julia Hart time to give her the mist, and just like that, Tekla takes out Queen Aminata, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But we did see a bit of a video in social media that seems that something is happening, that we may see a faction between Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. So we'll see where that goes from there. Now, Toni Storm, as you know, survived her match against Mercedes Moné at All In. So she is happy saying all this and that. But she did mention that Luther, as you know, is out due to injury to a reattachment surgery. I don't know what that is. However, it didn't take long for Athena, as you know, saying, well, bitch, you're not getting the happy ending you want because I'm the one who's going to give your demise, and I'm going to be the one to murder you. Because she said that she has no allies. Mina Shirakawa, as you know, is a long-standing ally of Toni Storm, has been taken out at All In, hurting her hand. But, of course, Toni Storm's not going to just back down from anything. But Athena is 100% confident that she will walk out because she is now going to become the AEW Forever Champion. So we'll see how that rolls up from there. Now, we did hear from the patriarchy, most specifically Nick Wayne, Mama Wayne, and Kip Sabian. Of course, Kip Sabian said that the only reason he joined was for Christian Cage. But how things have been rolling up, he sides with his brother, which is, of course, Nick. And not to mention Mama Wayne saying all this, that Nick Wayne was the prodigy. But Nick Wayne actually explains his reasons. He told them that, of course, that your exploration day was long overdue. And they was talking about a few months ago. Remember, Nick asked him, why? Why did you decide to disregard the plans to become AEW World Champion? So, he felt that you were going this way. We were going this way. So, that's what it is. But the one thing that Nick Wayne said, you got in my face, Christian. You said to me how many world championships I've won. No, you should take a fat check. I'm 20 years old. It's not the question how many championships I has ever hold. It's about how many championships I will hold. How many accomplishments I will be completing. So he's saying, Christian, I'm 20 years old. I can do things more what you could have done when you were my age, but you never did. So he's trying to prove that you created this monster. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So live with it. So Christian Cage has to suffer the consequences knowing he created a monster and there's nothing he can do about it. Now, that Snake of the Grass Don Callis showed up to introduce Kazuchika Okada, as you know, as our champion, facing a unknown wrestler. I don't know who is, but this match ended quickly. Let's call it a squash match after he applied the Rainmaker. But however, Okada had something to say. He called out Swerve, "You screwed the Young Bucks, you bitch." And then of course, here comes Swerve and comes in his face, tells him, "You damn right, you're right, I did that. But what are you gonna do about it, bitch?" And you know Okada does not like that. He doesn't like being called that back. So, of course, Don Callis tried to reason with him not to show up, not to get involved. But, of course, he was going to run through the hills. Of course. Now, our main event, we have the Death Riders. Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, and Jon Moxley taking on Mark Briscoe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and our current AEW World Champion, Hangman Page. And, of course, you know that they will love nothing more to get that title back away from what they believe are the fakers. But, of course, it was Hangman who once again picked up the victory when he applied a jackknife on, of course, Claudio. And just like that, the victory happened. But, of course, like the old saying goes, a loser cannot stand a winner. So they attacked, of course, Hobbs, Hangman, and Mark Briscoe. But out of nowhere, here comes Darby Allin, who was up in the stands watching. And of course, Moxley's like, "What the hell?" And of course, Hangman took him out with a buckshot Larry, and just like that, it was over. But the real question is, what is going on in Jon Moxley's head? Should he be concerned about Darby Allin? If I was Jon Moxley, you know you want your title back, but in the end, you have to realize Darby Allin is in your head, so he has to be more careful what he's going to plan to do. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that. But as of right now, we'll end things here. We're now done with our reviews. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. Let's start with GCW with Bash at the Ballpark in Coney Island that will happen on the 19th of July. It was announced that Masha Savage will take on the Base God, Gringo Loco. So that's going to be one hell of a match. Deadlock Pro Wrestling has announced a new show. It's called Showdown in Cary. And this show is going to happen on August 8th in Cary, North Carolina. So it explains the name. Showdown in Cary. Now, finally, we have Wrestling Revolver. They keep announcing more names for the upcoming Jerry Lynn Invitational that will happen on the 9th of August. 2 more names have been entered. Entry number 8, we have Alan Angels, formerly known as 5. And then, of course, on number 9, we have Facade. So that's pretty much what we have for upcoming events. Now for some interesting developments. Now, as you know, we have the Mighty Gold Dream Star Grand Prix. Well, Mayu Iwatani has got her full schedule, and this will be her debut tournament. And this is who she'll be facing throughout the entire month of, throughout much of the tournament. On August 2nd, she'll be facing Asenka Akatsuki, and then we have, I don't know if it's a 2-day event. We also have Seri Yamaoka. On the 10th of August, Rhea Seto. On the 30th of August, our Mighty Gold World Champion, Utami Ishida. That's going to be interesting. I don't know if Utami Ishida's going to lose or this match will end in a draw. Then we have, of course, Kyuki Amori. Then on the 6th of September, we have Chiaki. And then finally, on the 14th, Victoria Uzuki. So that's pretty much what's going to happen on that. Now, as you all remember, I may have put a news update on Tony Khan explaining what happened with the whole situation with AAA. Well, he was on that same interview. He was talked about Adam Cole. As you know, Adam Cole had to relinquish the TNT World Championship because of a concussion. And this is what Tony Khan said, "It was a hard conversation, but I'm glad that he told me the truth. That he wasn't just that he didn't feel well, and he was having trouble sleeping. He didn't feel good, and he was having not just feeling like it would be good idea for him to wrestle, and I had agreed with that, and I agreed with that. I knew that it would be the right thing for Adam Cole, and was what he wanted to do too, to go out and speak to the fans from his heart and explain that he wouldn't be able to wrestle, even though we were all and sad we don't get to see Adam Cole wrestle for a while. Hopefully he'll be able to return in some capacity, but definitely he needs time off after talking to him." So yeah, so Tony Khan had said that he was thankful for Adam telling him the truth about not feeling well, and of course he did allow him to tell the fans what's going on because he doesn't want to lie to them. So it's great that he actually gave him that opportunity. But of course, Tony Khan is hopeful that he'll be back, and hopefully he is 100% better. So hopefully these injuries just end. We don't know what's the extent of the concussion, but hopefully he'll become 100% better. So we'll see how that rolls up. So as of right now, we are officially done with our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have TNA. This is the go-home show before we head to Slammiversary this coming weekend. I'm excited for that, so I can't wait to review it. And of course, we have Ring of Honor. If there's any other reviews I might do, I'll do those as soon as possible. As you know, I am trying to catch up with all the Joshi promotions, so we'll get to all of it as soon as possible. But as of right now, I'll say this, that our priorities will be TNA and Ring of Honor. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.